The Kazakh Waterfall and the Hovhanavonk Monastery. The Kazakh Waterfall is a picturesque waterfall in the deep basalt canyon of the Kazakh River, directly opposite the medieval Hovhanavonk Monastery in the village of Hovhanavong. The river rises on the summit of Mount Aragats and plunges into a deep basalt canyon, one of the most picturesque in the country. Hovhanavonk is a medieval monastic complex in Armenia. Centuries, situated on the edge of the picturesque Kazakh River Gorge in the village of Oganavon, Aragat Sotin province. It is renowned for its checkerboard patterned masonry of black and orange tuff and its unique architectural details. Key facts about the complex. History. The oldest part, the Serb Grigor, St. Gregory Basilica, was founded in the early 4th century. According to legend, it was here that Lazar Parpetsi wrote **The History of the Armenians**. The main church, Serb Karapet, built between E10 Lambai Ishalil and ERRE, with funds provided by Prince Vashe Vachutian. The facade is adorned with a beautiful bas-relief depicting Christ and the parable of the 10 wise and foolish virgins. Surroundings. Near the church, the ruins of an ancient church and medieval khachkars have been preserved, and a narrow staircase leads down from the monastery walls to the caves. Hovhanavonk Monastery. Hovhanavonk Monastery is situated in the village of Oganavon, approximately 6 kilometers north of Ashtark, on the right bank of the Kazakh River. According to tradition, the ancient church of the St. Karapet complex was built by Gregory the Illuminator in the early 4th century. The monastery is dedicated to Hovhannes Imkratich, John the Baptist. Legend. According to legend, a pagan temple dedicated to the goddess Astik once stood on the site where the monastery is now located. Astik was the goddess of love, beauty, and water, and was considered one of the most revered goddesses. The Festival of Vardavar, which originally had pagan origins, Gregory the Illuminator built a basilica on the site of the pagan temple. This basilica was dedicated to John the Baptist, whose remains were buried beneath the church. According to the account recorded by Arakel de Vierzetsi, the monastery was named in honor of John the Baptist. The church was named St. Karapet. Karapet means first, as it was one of the first to be built following the adoption of Christianity. The 4th century basilica is a single nave structure built of black and gray tuff. The monastery's main church was erected on the orders of Vashe Vachutian between E.R.E. Liu and 1221. The narthex was added by Vache's son, Kurd, in 1250. The monastery became the episcopal residence for the regions of Nig and Amberd, under the leadership of Bishop Amazaspaf Mamikonyan. It became an important center of learning, where numerous Armenian historical texts were transcribed. Ararat at a glance. Today's journey will take us through Armenia, during which you'll get to know the biblical Mount Ararat as if it were right before your eyes. Every view you take in will be filled with incredible beauty, The journey will be fascinating and unforgettable, and every photograph will become a wonderful memory. Our trip to the ancient Gorge Monastery complex, an astonishing structure carved directly out of the rock. This unique architectural monument is distinguished by its extraordinary beauty and antiquity, whilst its history and mystical atmosphere are shrouded in mystery and legend. It is believed that the spear that pierced Jesus Christ was kept here until the 13th century. Surrounded by the beauty of the historic monastic complex, you will feel as though you have stepped outside the bounds of time and space. After Gorge, we move on to the pagan temple of Garni, which is one of the most famous and popular tourist destinations in Armenia. Garni is the only surviving pagan temple in the country, built as far back as the 1st century. Here you can enjoy the beauty of its architecture and its mystical atmosphere. This place is steeped in history and the spirit of ancient times, which will transport you to the distant past and allow you to savor the beauty and grandeur of this unique site. Next, we will head down the Azot River Gorge, where a unique natural landmark awaits us, the Symphony of Stones. This is an incredible fusion of nature and art, consisting of clearly defined basalt columns rising 50 meters above the gorge. The majestic and harmonious columns create a breathtaking view due to the shape and arrangement of the stones. The monument is also known as the basalt organ. The basalt stones have been carved by nature so precisely and symmetrically that it seems as though the entire structure were man-made. It is an incredible fusion of nature and art, consisting of clearly defined basalt columns rising 50 meters above the gorge. The majestic and harmonious columns create a breathtaking view due to the shape and arrangement of the rocks. The site is also known as the basalt organ. The basalt rocks have been carved so precisely and symmetrically by nature that it seems as though the entire structure were man-made. Next, we head to the Azotskoye Reservoir. From here, there is a fantastic view of the red cliffs of the Aronovsky Mountains. The water in the reservoir changes color depending on the time of day and the weather, creating a unique atmosphere. Our journey will then take us to the village of Suranavan, known as the Village of Storks. Since ancient times, Armenians have regarded these majestic birds as the protectors of the fields and, in a sense, the embodiment of the sun. They have always captivated people with their beauty and the grace of their flight. When you stand at the foot of Mount Ararat, an incredible view opens up of its peaks, which seems so close, yet at the same time inaccessible. Not far from Ararat lies the ancient Khor Virap Monastery, which captivates visitors with its colorful legends and impressive architecture, creating an experience that is simply indescribable. The history of this monastery spans several centuries, and every stone, every architectural feature here is steeped in the spirit of the times. You will learn how Khor Virap Monastery played an important role in the history of Armenia and how it remains the country's spiritual center to this day. Did you know that in Armenia, there is a church with other churches? Built right on its roof? It's the Tegher Monastery on the slopes of Mount Aragats. The main church was built way back in 1213, whilst these amazing chapels and churches on the roof appeared in 1232. Just imagine this sacred site is over 800 years old. If you want to discover the hidden wonders of Armenia, subscribe to my channel.